How's it going, everyone? Let's get back to some more main story quest. Hopefully everything goes well today. Been having issues with my internet. It's randomly disconnecting, so hopefully that doesn't happen during the stream. Okay. So this is where we left off. So let's go. Let's talk to Y'shtola here. Ajadal's legacy. Y'shtola is intrigued by the legend of Ajadal III. Hopefully they'll keep it easy with the names this time. Or do voiced dialogue? I guess not. Azadel III, I confess I am somewhat embarrassed that the tale of his journey to another world escaped my notice. Could it be more than simple folklore? And what of the treasure he supposedly brought back? This undersea vault may hold relics from another reflection. My friends, we should temper our expectations. The map doth promise ruins, but beyond that, we know not what we will find. Not until we find it, eh? But let us dispense with the conjecture and set sail for the vault. I imagine this is going to turn into a dungeon. At some point. This vault has got to be a dungeon. Oh, for a second I thought they was just going to reveal it right there. Oop, there it is. You could tell when a dungeon is revealed. It's always got that weird panning to just some random area, and it just stays there until the dungeon pops up. Oh, but it looks like this one is going to be with I forget what they're called. I guess you could go with other players, but I like doing these with there's a name for this. I don't remember what this was called. Oh, that's right. He's a tank. Usually I like to, since I'm a DPS, I usually like to use the physical DPS because, you know, Dragoon is physical. Because it teaches you like where to stand and how to do the dungeon as a physical DPS. But I gotta have my girl Y'shtola with us. Hopefully we won't die. We got much better gear than is expected. There's a name for this that I don't remember. For this this concept of having these NPCs come with us in a fight. But at least we can watch the cutscene in peace. Don't have to worry about anybody complaining. Not that usually happens anyways. Ilzabard, Azadel's legacy. Doing these is always so weird if you're not like the tank. You kind of have to like, you're in control of what happens. But you know, you have to kind of get close to enemies, but not too close. But the tank does a pretty good job of holding aggro anyways. Alright, we're gonna beat up on some monkeys here. I guess we should just go with some AoE. Seems like there's enough people here. Oh, I probably should be doing that. So many moves. I should look at a rotation guide to get a better understanding. I feel like I got it 90% right. I wish they had like some built-in, I mean, this probably would lead to a lot of toxic behavior, but if they had a an in-game DPS guide or something, or a DPS counter, it would be pretty helpful to make sure you're doing as much damage as you possibly can. Because like usually when I come across enemies like that, I'm not sure. Should I just I mean, I guess there's probably a number, right, where you switch from doing AoE damage or doing AoE attacks versus doing single target damage. I imagine if there's 3 or more, that's what I go by, really. But this game is fine. We're getting the job done anyways. Doesn't really matter. Stuff is usually pretty easy anyways when we get to the boss. Which I guess shouldn't be that bad anyways. What does this place look like anyways? Yeah, can't tell at the moment. Okay, looks like there's at least 4 people here. See, I'm not sure if 3's the... I would assume definitely 4 people. You definitely want to go for the AoE. But I'm not sure about the 3 people. I know some people are going to probably call me out with the clicking. But I feel like it's easier, honestly. Not for everything. Kind of just depends on, I don't know, it's just like a random feeling. Because, like, to get that second row of abilities, you have to like hold control, and it can be kind of annoying if you're trying to get like the 7, 8s, and 9s. I mean, I suppose there is a control on the right side of the keyboard, but I don't know. What does get annoying is when you try to go over a move. I wonder if you can move the description of this move, or because it covers like stuff to the right. It'd be nice if you can cover stuff like that, or like move it like far away or something. You probably can. So many settings. I'm still learning new stuff about this game all the time. These are just so many things to learn, and a lot of things the game doesn't even tell you, to be honest. But I suppose I'd probably still be at the beginning of the game if it was going to sit there and explain everything to me. I've been recently leveling up a Reaper. I'm trying to do a lot of stuff that I've neglected. I'm sure you've noticed that I'm still missing like flying for certain areas. Definitely need to get on that. But I definitely do want to get some other characters to 90. Because I have nothing else at 90 except some of the discipline, actually all of the discipline of land. Getting the discipline of hand 90, it's just so weird. It's definitely much harder because it costs either a lot of money or a lot of time. And some of them are easier than others, to be honest. I feel like alchemy can get kind of annoying. Oop, what the hell that's all about? Guess we'll find out soon enough. Dude, why is he still over there? Wait, when did she get... Oh. See, that's... Y'shtola was right next to us. And if I'm not mistaken, black mages have an ability that lets them, like, not teleport, but, like, instantly jump to, a party member. Yep, see? You just saw her kind of, like, fly over there. Yeah, I do have I think a 70-something black mage. That was my... Other than the Dragoon, that was my highest other class. Then I leveled up. I just got Reaper to 80, so... But that's, you know... It's definitely not the same, you know? I think you start off at 70 or something, right? Whereas Black Mage, you start out at level 1. I actually started this game off... Well, I did start off with a Lancer. I'm like... But then I kind of dropped it. I went to Ninja at some point. But then I went back to Lancer to get my Dragoon. In like a much better time, to be honest. I was getting kind of annoyed with the ninjutsu. Not that they're not cool, but it's so easy to make a mistake. Which is kind of ridiculous. I wonder if they've changed it. Okay, this boss has been pretty easy so far. But, you know, first boss of the dungeon. And it is a main story quest dungeon. I don't expect it to be that difficult. You know, I wonder... I mean, I'm sure if you guys have played this game, you must know about the limit break. And I've always wondered to myself that why people don't usually use it sooner. Like, I could use it right now. It's like it's never used... And it always gets saved for, like, the final boss. But what I don't understand is, like, usually there's 3 bosses to dungeons. So there's probably going to be another boss and then the final boss. And if I used it when I got it, it definitely wouldn't have been a waste. You still had a tiny bit of... Might have been a slight waste. But I'm sure by the time we got to the final boss, it would have been fully recharged. But no one ever uses it on the first boss. The glimpse of passage detected confirming bearer's identity. Oh, we must be in the vault. That's pretty cool. Oh, can't go that way. A lot of fishy creatures. Is that a shark? That's pretty cool. This Stardiver ability, hands down one of my favorite abilities. Definitely for Dragoon. Since I haven't leveled everything up to max, I'm not really sure. Ah, screwed that up. Wasted a little bit of time there. It's alright though. So I suppose if I downloaded a third-party DPS meter, or DPS counter, Probably couldn't do it on the stream anyways. Probably come after me. But honestly, I wonder why they just care about that. Like, I can understand that if they don't want people harassing others, and if you want to, punish people for harassing others about DPS and all that, I don't see why they should punish people for, like right now, I'm like in a party with NPCs. Who cares? Oh, damn, I didn't think that was an enemy. But that was just like some sort of, furniture, to be honest. Well, at least I know I just have to single target this thing. Oh. Where the hell did all these other enemies come from? I guess we're done with the single target. Oh, screwed that up. Oh well, still crits on this. Usually save it for Corinthian Thrust. I wonder how many people use Dragon Sight ability correctly. I feel like it's an ability that probably people do not use correctly, because you can use it, if I'm not mistaken, without targeting anybody. Because the way this works is you're supposed to target a party member, and it gives them the left eye of the dragon, and that gives them 5% increase in damage. And the other part gives me the right eye, gives me a 10% boost in damage. But I believe if you don't select somebody, it just applies to you. Yep, like that. Which actually I don't think used to be a thing. I believe they changed it. I believe if you didn't select anybody back whenever it was, that it would just not work. You couldn't even use the move. Once again, not paying attention to that. But I guess they changed it. I mean, it was kind of annoying. You have to select somebody sometimes, especially when you're like in the middle of a battle or in the heat of a battle. And I know you can just target anybody really quickly with tab, but still pretty annoying. Right? Must be coming up on a second boss soon. What have we been getting anyways? 575 gear. I don't think that was even helpful. Let's see here. I think this is the gear that I left off with at the end of 6.0. I guess 575 is an upgrade. If I was getting, obviously none of that stuff's for me anyway. Actually, was it? Maybe one of them was. Yeah, I guess that would have been an upgrade if I came here directly after. Let's see if we can kill. I wonder what's summoning. Oh, this thing's summoning the enemies. Yeah, let's try to get rid of this thing as quick as possible. It's getting kind of annoying. The quicker the better. Just single target this. Then we'll switch to AoE damage. Or I guess we can do it now. They'll probably die pretty soon. That seems a little better than last time, but maybe not. Still a ton of enemies here. The thing summons enemies pretty damn fast. Yeah, sometimes clicking makes some mistakes with clicking. wonder what Yostola's doing. Oh, that's right, I turned off. I can't see any of her magic, but I think I turned it off. If I could see things better. The effects can be kind of overwhelming. Although I left mine on. And I think I just turned them off all for PvP. Because that was definitely annoying. Threshold of Bounty. Well, they do tell you what to do. You must need memorize these defenses. You're really quite serious about this consulting role of yours. The Key Guardian appear mechanical in nature. Please remember to heal while listening to take notes. That's not really helpful. Turn back, Treasure Seeker, or this vault will be your tomb.
Make ready.
Alright, so let's do this right now so we can maybe get another chance to do it later. Whoa. I was just moving here because I thought the shields were affecting my attacks. Yeah, sometimes you do something right for the wrong reason. See, now this is something we could probably... See, I don't know if using the limit break in this fight would even be worth it. We might not be able to regen before the next fight. Because usually when the final boss pops up, you get a second bar to fill up. Yep. Watching Y'shtola and Urianger definitely helped a little bit with a small precise movement. Probably would have been snagged by one of those if I wasn't paying attention to them. Dude, Urianger knew that was coming. He moved out of the way on purpose. Oops. Damn. That was awful. Let's not die. That was a close one. Where is he? Oh. Yep. Well, I think we still got snagged by it. Oh, we can still do this again. It usually doesn't. I usually can't use that twice during a fight. It doesn't happen too often. But I guess I've been doing a lot of old dungeons. You know, just doing the dailies. So usually we burn bosses down pretty fast. So the main... Usually I usually always do like physical DPS when I'm playing any game. But I was watching people doing like close to like 100k. Oh, doing close to like 100k damage with a black mage, which makes sense because their moves, you know, take time to cast. I was like, I want to do that kind of crazy damage. So that was like one of the main reasons I leveled up the black mage. I should get back to it at some point. Oh. Not paying attention to the health. Where's my Star Diver ability? I would have saved it for the next fight. Oh. I opened up that I'm so used to like opening up a chest and like looking over here for the loot to roll on it. Just forgot I'm the only one here. Not that I can do anything with this gear. Except maybe sell it. Can't put any of this on the market. I hate how all this gear is market. Can't put it on the market, dude. It's so annoying. There's like so many restrictions to There's like a ton of gear that you can't put on the market, which is kind of annoying. I don't really understand why you can't put that kind of gear on the market. I mean, I can understand having that feature. You don't want people to just put anything on the market. But trash items from a dungeon. I actually haven't paid attention. I wonder if stuff like that gets changed, like when the next patch comes out, and this becomes like an old dungeon. I wonder if they change those market prohibited kind of ideals. Since it's not current content, really. Meh. Too lazy to pay attention to stuff like that. Well, I guess you can check old dungeons now. See if, but you won't know, I suppose, if it was ever prohibited. Although I guess if you do an old dungeon and you find something that's prohibited, I guess that kind of clarifies it. Which I think is still actually the case. I guess it might break the game for people that are leveling up. They just buy the gear instead. But I still don't see how that's a problem. Plenty of gear that you can make crafting. It's like way better. I don't know, I'm just trying to make some money. Want to buy a house. It'd be nice if you can buy a large house, but you never find a large house. I don't think I've ever seen a large house for sale. So it's like mostly like, it's probably like 90% small houses and like a medium house every once in a while. I think, well, I don't really know the difference. I guess I should look that up before making it. I mean, we don't have any money anyways. Even though we have, you know, close to 3 million. I think that's how much, like, medium houses go for. Somewhere between 3 and 4 million, at least on my server. I suppose it depends on, you know, where it's located and, you know, which housing district it is. All this gold and we're just, come on. Kidding me, right? Oh. Man, these mimics, they get me every time. Whether it's Dark Souls or, I guess, this game. Wasn't even expecting them. Well, we are coming up to the end of this dungeon for sure. I imagine we're getting close to the final boss. Wonder who it's gonna be. Probably gonna be some robot, based on what we've been seeing so far. I gotta say, when it comes to DPS, actually, I'd say when it comes to any class, the Dragoons, personally, for me, gotta have the best abilities. At least looking abilities. I would say that Summoners, it's up there.
Hold still.
And it's some, I mean, my Summoner's like, probably like under level 20 or something. But I definitely do want to upgrade, or level up. There's a couple classes I want to level up, honestly. None of them are healers. I suck at healing so bad. I know I'm bad at healing. And to make matters worse, I know that, like, usually when the healer messes up and dies, it's over. Like, the fight's over. Very rarely will will you be able to survive? Because I've seen a couple tank bosses on their own. And that's not like unsynced, fighting. It's like synced fighting. Which I think is kind of crazy. The Looming Warden. Capiculu. He looks like a clown. But it seems like... I wonder if I can actually tell. He's definitely a paladin. He's a black mage. I think he's a scholar. Although I think I do have a white mage leveled up. Yeah, 37. Sage, they start off at 70. So that's definitely not impressive. Alright, let's see if we can do this dungeon with no deaths. I'm gonna die on any boss. It's gonna be the final boss. Warning, this bolt is under my protection. Failure to withdraw. At least he's giving us a warning. How nice. After we just cleared out his whole dungeon. Well, that was flashy. I wonder what kind of changes they're going to make in the new expansion, because you can't have... I feel like there's already a ton of abilities that we have. I feel like they can't just keep adding more abilities, right? That was a close one. Not really sure how to avoid that. Although everybody got hit by it, so probably no way to avoid it. I was fortunate enough to get thrown in a direction where I didn't have to move, but now I don't know how to move. I guess you just have to hold the direction for long enough. So I did try to move direction, but it didn't do anything. I guess I wasn't holding it long enough. Yo, cat in the party. Welcome to the stream. Long time no see. How you been? Yeah, let's stick with these guys. That might be a little helpful. I wonder with those AoE attacks, if I move in their way, they'll move. Or they'll just take the damage. We got Spider-Man 2, nice. I've heard good things about that game. I've never been much of a, superhero kind of person. Oh, I guess you do have to hold it. It's not immediate. Wait. No. That was kind of fun, though, I gotta say. Made a couple mistakes, but it's alright. I think I got the hang of it now. Gonna have to try it at least once to get a hang of how you're gonna do it and what kind of turning radius you have on that. Definitely much slower. I was thinking it's more like a car with the sharp turns. Turns out it's more like a crew or a yacht. Oh, he's almost done. And our limit break is almost at 2. Too bad we don't have a level 3 limit break. Zero was pretty cool. But you got the Sephiroth, man. Got the Sephiroth DLC and Smash. I haven't played Smash in so long. Oh, to be fair, I haven't played my Switch in forever. Last time I played my Switch was when I got Tears of the Kingdom. Although that new Super Mario game does look pretty cool. Definitely need to get it at some point. Oh, forgot. Let's do it before he does something stupid. Should be enough to kill him. Yeah. Sephiroth is definitely going to be a fun character in Smash. Now I wonder if they're going to re-release a copy of Smash with like all the DLC and charge like $80 or something. It'd be nice to have a physical copy with like, you know, everything on the cart. A lot of tank stuff. Only one Dragoon item. But like I said, I don't need any of it anyways. Okay, no deaths, I'll take it.
What have we here?
Oh yeah, I know the DLCs have been out for for quite a while. Yeah, at least a year for sure. Now I was just wondering if they were going to re-release the physical copy of the game with the DLCs on the cart, like the physical cart, and not like download only. I doubt they're going to do it, but you know, in the future, if the store ever goes away, you have an option and you can't download the DLCs for whatever reason. Oh yeah, that's why I don't like, you know, online like fighting games.
Tis not unlike a
I don't have time to play 8 hours a day and get super good. Same thing happened to me when I got Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I was like late to the game and then I started I'm like, oh, this is fun. This looks pretty cool. I want to play this, and I just got destroyed. It's so bad. You don't even learn anything from it. It's just like they get you in a combo, and by the time you hit the ground, you're dead. I didn't learn anything.
There's one way we might find out.
Only thing you learn is you probably should have blocked that attack.
Stop! You mustn't touch it.
Who's this? Not that kid, is it? Oh.
Vritra! Oh, my apologies. Should I continue calling you Varshan?
You may address me as you wish. My nature is no longer a secret.
You know, I don't think I remember this kid.
Still, this is not a setting I imagined for our reunion. Surely you've not entered these ruins as common looters.
Maybe.
Would that we could deny your accusations, but I fear you're not far from the truth.
Great Vritra, might we beseech thee to explain the nature of this strange contrivance?
Yeah. You can't learn from people that are like way better than you. I think I remember reading an article saying that people need to be if people are like 6% better than you, however you want to quantify that, then that's like the ideal person to learn from. But if someone is like 10 times better than you, and they've been playing like for years, multiple hours a day, and you're like a new player, you just get frustrated and leave, which is what I did.
It was crafted by our alchemists at my behest, for the purpose of sealing something away.
I wasn't going to touch it, but you know, you stole a... I'm not going to throw her under the bus like that. Especially since this was my idea to begin with.
Perhaps I should simply show you.
You can only really learn from someone who's better than you if you know them in real life. That definitely helps. Is that a black hole? I feel like you can learn something from people online that you don't know, but you have to do like extra research. It's much better to have somebody you know that kind of can explain what's going on. If not, you have to like
The seal, if
do
only
your own
foretold
research.
by an authority only I possess.
A planar fissure?
No, my friend. Small though it may be, this is a functioning gate into the void.
I think Gilgamesh knows how to get into the void. That was something he did during the Hildebrand quest. It was, I think that was the same thing. Oh, just like that, we're done with this quest. Yeah, it took about 40 minutes. Not bad for a dungeon. Void gates and fissures are much the same thing in practice in the sense that they both allow passage between the source and the 13th. The difference in terminology refers to the circumstances of their creation. A fissure is an incidental tear in the fabric between worlds, whereas a void gate is a product of deliberate action. I suspect this is the latter, judging by the elaborate mechanism put in place to control it. To think that our search for material riches would lead to this priceless discovery. That swirling emptiness, it puts me in mind of old friends, not to mention old foes. Well, I think I remember that they said that there's like 13 reflections in the source, which we're in the source, and there's 13 reflections. He's assuming that it takes him to the 13th. I mean, I imagine it could take you to any other one, right? Just like that, Azadel's legacy is done. How much did we get? Let's see, we got 20 Halligans of comedy. Not bad. You may now enter Azadel's legacy with a party of NPC avatars. Ah, that show's called the Trust. That's what I was looking for when I started. To make use of this feature, open the Trust interface located under Duty in the main menu. Yeah, using having NPCs going on a dungeon with you as a trust. I remember now. Well, that was as quick as it could have been. Steve is the best character in Smash, no joke. Well, can't he like place blocks? Like, I feel like if you can like make, I mean, at that point he's like a god, isn't he? It's like he can make more of the level, right? You got a character that can like make stuff. Doesn't exist, which is kind of wild. A brother's grief. Y'shtola is appraising the Void Gate with scholarly eye. Steven Smash has everything. I should watch some people play Smash. But I honestly have no desire to play it myself. Maybe. I guess I shouldn't say that.
Admit, I am deathly curious to know how a void gate came to be hidden in the depths of these ruins.
Can we go inside? I'm more curious to know where it goes.
To tell that tale, we must first peer far to the south, and even further into memory. An age 5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Mericidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors. With Bahamut's defeat, however, the tide turned against them. Desperate to seize any advantage, the Mercidians resorted to summoning primal entities.
You mostly play Mortal Kombat? Yeah, I spend most of my time playing RPGs. That's probably why I suck at all the other fighting games. They'd probably get much better if I put some time
In
into it.
response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. Thus bolstered by icons on one side and Voidsent on the other, the two armies clashed in a battle of unspeakable carnage. So much death, so much loss.
I consider myself well versed in that period of history, yet you speak as one who witnessed it happen.
Maybe he's not a
Indeed,
kid.
I did. I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ashdaya.
You love fighting games, you play them a lot. Like Mortal Kombat, Smash, Street Fighter, and Injustice. No Tekken.
We dragons are not male or female as men are wont to classify, but elder sister is the closest a mortal tongue can come to describing what she meant to me.
Oh, that's right. He's a dragon. Forgot about that.
I was the last of our brood to hatch, and Ashdaya cared for me where my sire could not. Thus I was with her when Tiamat roared. I was with her when she journeyed south, and I was with her when she fought against the Voidsent hordes.
You tried, but it was too hard to adapt. Yeah, Tekken is kind of strange. With just the way it plays. It's more stiff. At least that's what I felt with the little amount of
Yet no matter how many
playing
of
I
the
did.
vile fiends we cast down, more rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble.
You know, I usually play this on my laptop. I don't usually play it, but right now I'm playing on a 4K screen. And I have never noticed how bad some of the textures are. This is terrible. This. It's so jaggedy. Like, I can understand, like, doing stuff like this when the game is playing. They couldn't. This is a cutscene. It looks so bad.
She plunged through the void gate itself to strike at the root of their strength.
We're playing on like 4K max setting. So like that's the best you're gonna get. I did hear they're gonna update some of the textures in the next expansion though. So hopefully they fix stuff like that.
I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alak's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her.
Yeah, you got a point. When you pay $60 for a game, you kind of just, even if you get your ass beat, you kind of stick with it a little longer. But at least, from what I understand, at least Street Fighter 6 has a story mode and some single player stuff. There wasn't much of that in Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I don't think I paid full price for that game when I bought it.
Ashdaya has been lost to us ever since.
I think there's probably some single player stuff, but it's not that big.
I find I must retract my earlier claim of historical knowledge. Nowhere in the Crystal Tower's archives did I see mention of such noble sacrifice.
That does not surprise me. To Allagan eyes, it must have seemed as if a lone dragon, driven to madness, simply dove through the gate and did not return. For my part, I spent long years searching for the means to reunite with Ashdaya.
Street Fighter 6 was your first Street Fighter? So you didn't have any experience? I didn't play Street Fighter 6, but I played Street Fighter a long time ago. Probably Street Fighter 2. Not the original, probably some remake of it. Or some re-release.
Until I could search no more. Until Alag was dust. And the art to open a void gate large enough to accommodate a dragon forever lost.
Yet you have the beginnings of a gate right here, under the control of a harnessed device.
Wonder if his sister's
My
still
discovery
alive.
came before Radzatan was founded. Though I scoured the lands for a method to cross the rift, it was beneath the sea that I chanced to find a natural planar fissure. It was, however, far too narrow to admit a worm's bulk. Only after our city rose upon the rock, and I could enlist the aid of our talented alchemists, did matters take a favorable turn.
That still seems kind of small. Unless it was much
Their
smaller
dedication
before.
was beyond reproach. Tirelessly they worked to expand the fissure, and after decades of toil, it finally grew to a size that a child might pass through.
Like you.
Not long ago, you told us that you called out to your kin, but Ashdaya's answer was silence. I suspect the conclusion to your tale is not a joyful one.
The only ones you played before Street Fighter or Street Fighter versus Capcom was Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 5, but it was the arcade. Ah, I see. That's definitely not enough practice. Well, hopefully you got better at it.
In my heart, I used the simulacrum to cross the threshold. But no, I did not find her.
It definitely doesn't feel good to just get your ass whooped all the time.
What I found was a host of void scent, clamoring around the opening they had sensed. 'Twas but a moment, but enough. I had no choice but to retreat and allow the portal to contract once more.
I guess they're not big enough to come through. Lucky for him.
The gate was a threat to your people. You had to decide between endangering Radzatan and abandoning your sister. And you chose the latter.
'Twas not that thy sibling scorned thy call. 'Twas that she was trapped beyond a barrier through which neither roar nor dragon may pass.
You don't play Tekken.
In the desolate world of the 13th.
You don't play Tekken, but your main in Smash is Kazuya. That is kind of funny. But it probably doesn't play the same, I imagine. Probably plays similarly. But I bet you it's got a different feel to it.
I can scarce imagine your pain, yet it was wise not to linger in that place. Too long a sojourn, and even a being of your power risks being warped into a creature of the void. You've seen this phenomenon before, when we stepped into the darkness.
You got better at Street Fighter 6, but you stopped playing when MK1 came out? Are you enjoying MK1?
As did I. Were it not for Une and Doga, or Nero for that matter, we might never have made it home. Do you remember what happened to Nero? How his wounds allowed the Void's corruption to enter his body and twist his ether? Had it been allowed to progress much longer, I presume he would have been fully transformed.
Then there is little hope for Ashdaya.
Yep. He's probably been there for a long time.
Ah, no. I hadn't meant to. I speak only of possibilities. The scales of the First Brood are extraordinarily resistant to ethereal fluctuations. They are the protective talisman's core components after all, and even the corruption I described would struggle to overcome.
Trying to save it.
Of course. With the warding scale in one's possession, one could conceivably survive a stay in the 13th without being warped by its energies.
Be that as it may, it is too late to rescue my sister. 5,000 years too late.
Damn. It's been 5,000 years.
And now countless others look to me for guidance and protection.
Oh, you like it? Damn. 110 for the premium. That's crazy. It's a much longer cutscene than I would have
When I
expected.
sensed intruders in the ruins, I came only to ensure that the gate remained closed. That, and to secure the treasure, of course. I wish only to forget the rest.
Something gonna happen? Oh. Thought something was gonna come out of the void. You know what? I imagine we're gonna have to go into that void at some point. Wonder if his sister's still alive. They managed not only to expand the fissure, but also manipulate it as one mighty gate. Astonishing. Is there any chance I could learn more of how this feat was accomplished? I will tell you what I can. First, however, I must return to the High Crucible and arrange to replace the Guardians you so handily destroyed. It will not do to leave the gate undefended. Oop, my bad. My apologies. We were perhaps a touch zealous in our rush to uncover the vault's secret. If the constructs can be repaired, we'd be happy to offer our assistance. It will not be necessary, much as I retain spare vessels for myself. We keep duplicate guardians on hand for such eventualities. In any case, we should return to Radzahan. You had a lot of faith in the game. Well, that's good that everything worked out, because that's a lot of money to spend on a game. Although, I mean, it's possible to I don't think I've ever bought a bad game, or a game that I wasn't satisfied with. At least full price. But even like discounted, probably the same thing. But at that point, the game's been out for so long. Yeah, usually when the game's like discounted and you buy it discounted or something, there's so many reviews and so many videos that you can watch. There's like almost no excuse to like end up with a bad game. Now you might not like the game. That doesn't mean it's like a bad game. And sometimes I go into that. Like I've been playing games forever. Probably like 20 plus years. So I know the type of games I like, and I know the type of games that I don't like. So if I buy a game like I bought Civilization 6. I know I'm not a strategy game person, but it was on sale. I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I've gotten some enjoyment out of it. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much if I spent $60 on it though. But I think I paid like $10 for it. Great. I promise we will discover the void yet further, but first I must attend to the matter of the Vault's sentinels. Yeah, look, that thing in the back. Kind of like what was in the vault. As your instruments have no doubt informed you, the Capicula has been reduced to so much scrap. Please bring a new one out of storage and see that it is conveyed to its post along with some few lesser constructs. Was it Tome Robbers? Fiends born of the Tower of Zot? By the sisters, do not tell me a blasphemy yet roams free. Looks like we shouldn't have done that. No one's gonna speak up? Not even Oriange. Why such guilty faces? Surely it isn't you who are responsible for this. Well, the details aren't important. I shall see it done immediately. Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting Mario Wonder. A game like that, I mean, I didn't buy it because I'm like worried that it might be bad. I just haven't gotten around to it. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Mario game or a bad Zelda game. And with that, the vault will soon be secure once more. Now I believe you had questions? At least Mario and Zelda games made by Nintendo. We'll just forget about the CDI. I mean, even Zelda 2 wasn't that bad. Although that's before my time. Quite a few, in fact. But I'd like to begin with the gate itself. Is it still functional? Yes? Indeed, which is why I saw it sealed with an alchemically forged lock and warded it with my magics. Such power must not fall into the wrong hands. In truth, the primary reason for the vault's construction was to keep the gate hidden from the outside world. So much effort for such a little door. That little door you speak of leads to an abyss teeming with unspeakable horrors. That said, it in its current state, it would only admit only the lowliest of void scent, and from this side no man would be able to pass through it. No man. I should think Alphanoid would fit. Give him a firm push. Dude, don't we have Lalafelts in this game? They could fit. Just throw one of them in there. Physical size is only one consideration. The true restriction hinges upon the etheric density of the soul in transit. And yet you succeeded in expanding this diminutive portal and sending your simulacrum to the 13th. Thanks to my brilliant alchemist, I should have destroyed the anomaly when I found it, but instead I bade them devise a means to control it. Yeah, Mario Wonder is 93 on Metacritic. It's crazy. I mean, I knew it was going to be good when I saw the trailer, but I did much better in the reviews than I thought. Not that I don't give too much credit to reviews anyways. At the end of the day, it's just someone's personal opinion. After much experimentation, they accomplished the impossible. A method was conceived by which my magics could be manipulated, the fissure, and transform it into a serviceable gate. But the process has long since been forgotten. Once I'd given up searching for Azdaja, there was no need to preserve such esoteric and dangerous knowledge. Thus the gate lain dormant for years uncounted. Our own passage to the 13th was made relatively simple thanks to the Crystal Tower. An ancient mechanism channeled the tower's vast stores of energy to open a void gate, one bound to a covenant made with the cloud of darkness. Once that sovereignty entity was beaten back, however, the covenant was broken and the doorway severed from its connection to the void. Theoretically, it should be possible to reconnect the gate by forging a new pact with another void scent, but such details usually end in betrayal and death. In any case, we should attempt to gain an understanding of the bounty gate. Mayhaps you could resume the search for your sister. As I've already explained, I put those futile hopes to rest centuries ago. My place and my duty is here and now. I meant to ask, what prompted you to search for the vault in the first place? It was all Instinian's idea. Technically, it was both of ours, I suppose. Actually, it was Tataru's, right? And that Lalafell was all her idea. That should have been I guess he doesn't know her. As you have seen, the fabulous wealth from the stories is quite real, if not his rumored origin. But I'm afraid I must assert a prior claim. Like, dude, if you don't want people going in there for money, you should just take it, get rid of it, put it somewhere else, and make it public. Yeah, we found the vault. We took all the money. It's in our coffers. So stop going there. I've been adding to that trove for years, little by little, but the time has come to spend it. Oh, perfect. That I might alleviate my people's suffering. Then we are of one mind. We had no intention of taking it for ourselves. Isn't that right, my friend? Maybe a little. Your Excellency, would you object if I were to conduct a closer examination of the gate? I'll make no attempt to open it, of course. I owe you and yours a debt that can never be repaid. Whatever boon you ask of me, you shall have it. You are most gracious. I shall take full advantage of your permission. Oh, that I could join thee in the study, but the Loporrits will be anxious to receive my report. I beg my leave of you. And I must be off to Charlian as well. Mistress Grill was eager to speak with you about that request, so please come back to the annex as soon as you're able. Farewell for now. I want to go into the void. That sounds like fun. I'm sure at some point we will. We can discuss my findings once I return. You'll not be able to rid me so easily. Perfect. If there was anybody I wanted to stay with me, it would be her. And then second, maybe Instinian. When did he change gear? I didn't even notice he has this Dragoon gear on. You may now undertake the Chronicles of a New Era quest series, Myths of the Realm. Speak with a fresh-faced student at the Valdisian Annex to accept the first quest. Well, that was a quick quest. The difficult part in all this will be deciding how best to put these riches to use. Will you lend me your assistance in these deliberations? You're glad we have a new Mario game instead of a new Super Mario Brothers series? I'm just glad it's 2D. And it's not like a 3D Mario. I would love a 3D Donkey game, a 3D Donkey Kong game though. I mean, Tropical Freeze was amazing. I think that was maybe 2.5D. I mean, if they come out with a 2D Donkey Kong game, I'm not going to complain. But I don't think they've made a 3D one since Nintendo 64. I would definitely love another one. Of course, let's help them out. Thank you, Divinius. Divinius and I are in this together. I will follow his example. Thanks for paying me to break into your vault. I mean, we pretty much broke into his vault. Dude's paying us anyways. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Must be the void. I mean, look at this place. Who builds these massive structures in the void? They got some construction, team out there. We're actually going to see the face of this dude. Ooh, is it going to be Chaos from Final Fantasy 1? I don't think we've seen him. Ooh, I think it might be. Aren't those his shoulders? No, that's not. Is that Exodeth? Throne of Earth. I sensed the breaching of a gate, but I was not instigated from this aside. It was thrown open from the other. Earth, fire. Throne of Fire. I too felt it, a rare occurrence, yes. But such a tiny portal is beneath our notice. There are more pressing matters at hand. An opportunity is upon us, the coming of which we have awaited for nigh on 10,000 years. We dare not let it slip our grasp. Oh, I think opening that door was a mistake. Throne of Wind. Yet, we must not underestimate he who bested the cloud of darkness. Even restrained by a covenant, the cloud was no feeble wisp to be dispersed by some flesh and blood mortal. Throne of Water. Bah, let him come. I'll drown the world and watch its flesh grasp for breath in its final moments. The Knight in Black. Your zeal is admirable, but forget not our cause. Knight in Black. Think back on our struggles beneath the sunless sky. Remember why we cede not our will to fight. It's been so long since I played, the first 6 Final Fantasy games. I can't tell if that's Chaos or Exodeth. I think it actually might be Chaos. Or just somebody else, I don't know. It's time we set the war in motion and win redemption for our star. Oh, Donkey Kong Country Returns is pretty good too. But wasn't that based on like Donkey Kong Country or something? I think that was the end of the quest, right? That's our next quest. Well, that last quest was pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to look into who that actually was. I think it was Chaos, but I could be wrong. Sharing the wealth. Varash wishes to discuss the distribution of the treasure, and I have a hard time with S's. Wishes. Gotta slow down and be careful how I say that. Shall we begin? If we are to spend the treasure wisely, then we must first determine which groups would benefit the most from monetary assistance. Some of my citizens may find it intimidating to speak the satrap directly, so I would ask you to act in my stead. Divinius, you were to visit Akyali and Yed-Limad. Speak with Matsya and his people and listen to their grievances. Instinian, I bid you do the same at Palakistan. I'll be conducting my own inquiries at the Giant Skull grounds. Once you believe you have ascertained the needs of the populace, we can reconvene at Megaduta. Unless it's something completely different. You think it's loosely based on Donkey Kong Country? But instead of King K and his minions, it was those puppet guys? Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Wait, do we even need to do that? Actually, where is that? It's a different... It's not... Yeah, that's a different place. Thank God for the teleporting. Although, still don't have any flying, unfortunately. Probably should have gotten flying before I decided to start recording these episodes. Or, you know, recording the main story quest. Oh well. Luckily, it's not too far. And we get to see this awesome T-Rex. I gotta tell you, when you're flying and you're using a mount that, I mean, I can't be the only one that's like, when I see the T-Rex flying, it looks stupid. Because you can fly with any mount. Flying with the T-Rex just looks stupid. Oh, Divinius, I was glad to see you had returned unharmed. You finished with the boat then? Yeah, unless I want to redo the dungeon. Anything the village desperately needs. Well, I suppose Kalzal's loss hit us the hardest. I've been trying to find buyers for my fish, but although I sell a few here and there, it's so much more difficult than it was before. Everyone's still struggling to rebuild their lives. For now, we're just banding together as best we can. Oh, man, we gotta go all the way back here. I think that's it. There's nobody else, right? In some other place. And I can't believe how many quests there are. You know, at one point I was doing a series on this game for like completing all the yellow quests. I think I finished like most of the beginning areas. Like a place like this, there's like no quests left. I don't know, can you see quests when you're not in the zone? Let's see. Maybe not. There's got to be a place. How about if I pick? There must be quests here. Oh, I guess you can't see them unless you're there. Oh, you just gotta believe. Well, they're on YouTube. I guess you can go watch them. Should get back to that at some point. Some of the quests are pretty interesting. Might as well just teleport there. We got the money. Speak with the locals in Yedlima. Well, that's probably not how you pronounce it. Greetings and welcome, traveler. If this is your first visit to Thavnir, then you must try my special Amralasi. Its refreshing zest cannot be beat. What could such a wonderful cost? What could such a wonder cost, you wonder? Normally I part with 3 bottles for a generous price of 19,800 gil. But for you, I'm willing to go as low as even 10,000. You'd be practically stealing from me. If anybody ever says that, you're being ripped off. Or they say, I'm gonna lower this price. You're stealing from me. They're just like trying to emotionally trick you. Stealing at that price? You're the only thief around here. Still not turning up. I'm not Instinian. But he does. It's a reference he's not even going to understand. Let's go with the second one. Still not turning a profit, eh? Times are harsh, my friend. The world may no longer be on fire, but we are still stifling through the ashes, so to speak. Sister, spare me. We might as well have that ugly tower back for a scant few travelers we see these days. I myself barely have the coin to buy at local prices. I tell you, if I didn't charge the odd adventurer a small fortune for afternoon tea, then I'd be scavenging for scraps in the street. A little much, don't you think? It sure is minutes. Oh, welcome to the stream. It's been a long time. How you doing? I might be a little sick. I definitely woke up feeling a little weird this morning. Maybe I have like a cold or something. The weather's been, I wouldn't say it's really hot where I live, but it's hotter than usual. And I'm just like not used to it. I've been like, I've had like a fan going. That probably got me sick or something. Or like sleeping with the windows open, which I don't usually like to do. How fares the port? Well, it's in shambles, isn't it? The trade routes are open once more now. The danger has passed, certainly, but no small number of merchants have had to sell their ships to make ends meet in the short term. Add to that the sailors we lost in the final days, and it's little wonder the flow of exports is no more than a pitiful trickle. If Calzal and his consortium were still with us, I'm sure he'd have found a way to turn our fortunes around. Now that was a man who got things done. God rest his soul. You have spoken with key local figures and gained an understanding of the populace's hardship. Varashan awaits your report at Megadua. Yeah, I'm not even going to pronounce that anymore. Terrible at it. I'm doing pretty well, aside from maybe being sick. But, I mean, I don't feel sick. At least, I mean, maybe I have like a sore throat or something. But that's all I can really notice. You've been on VR for the past... Well, you put 5 to 3 hours. Usually when people have a span, they put the lower number first. They'll say like 3 to 5 hours. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's not a good thing to be on there for that long. You remember when Joker got announced for Smash? I thought it was Joker from DC, and I was hugely disappointed when I found out it was Persona's Joker. That would have been pretty interesting. It would have been kind of out of place. I mean, I guess technically there's a Marvel versus a DC game, right? But there's no like Joker game. I mean, I guess he's probably in Batman, right? He's in the Batman games, maybe. Because they're not going to pull people that are not in a video game. I think that was the point. Like celebrating characters that are in video games. They definitely wouldn't pick somebody that was like not in a game. Although I've heard good things about Persona 5, and I definitely want to play it as a Let's Play at some point. But it's another RPG, and I've started too many, and I just can't. I can't start another one without finishing some others. It's getting a little ridiculous now. This is different, since I could just kind of start and stop whenever. This is not really a Let's Play. We're just kind of doing some stuff. Ah, my advisor's return. I just made it back myself. Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of the time. Be that as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling to say the least. And there are few places I can enter comfortably without the risk of flattening some cart stall. Fair enough. As for my inquiries, the people of Palakistan were unanimous in their reply. They're surviving. Resources were stretched to the limit when refugees were pouring in, but they preserved with some assistance from Yedlemad. From what I understand, they've always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the like, and I was assured that the jungle provides for their needs for the most part. Palaka's stand has weathered a disaster better than most, it seems. I myself heard good news and bad. The quarrymen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a wagon full of giant gall to a foreign trader. But such visitors are few and far between. Compared to our best years, the weight of stone leaving Thavnir has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its prosperity dependent on the steady stream of exports. We must identify any obstacle to the flow of trade, so we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn from Akiali and Yedlamat? Oh, was it Mortal Kombat versus DC? I thought there was a Marvel versus DC game. Yeah, maybe not. Oh, that's Marvel versus Capcom. Yeah, that's definitely wrong. I see. Without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch, which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yeldamad. I am reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beast sunk their vessel. So many variations of the same tragic tale, repeated over and over, so many lives lost. You can't stand VR anymore. You used to be able to play for 3 hours. Now you can't even stand an hour. I don't think I've ever played any VR games. I remember when I bought a phone a while back, it came with like a cheap little VR headset to put your phone in. And it was fun watching, like watching a YouTube video in there. But I never played any games. They're just so expensive. I mean, I guess I have a PC now, and I can probably get like an Oculus or something, or a Quest. And I suppose I can get the PS5 one. I do have the PS5. But I don't know. Not enough games for me to really care. Maybe later. Enough grief to drown in if we let ourselves be overcome. But we will not. Vinius Instidian, I will consider the perspectives you brought me and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come. I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries. I mean, there's probably more VR games to play if you get like a PC VR set as opposed to like the PlayStation one. Unless you can hook that up to a PC. I'm not sure. I don't want to look into it because then I'm gonna convince myself to buy it. And I really don't want to spend the money on it.
The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadal's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need.
If I get a VR, get an Oculus and not a PlayStation VR. Honestly, I was thinking, oh, definitely. I've heard good things about the Valve one. Oh, what is it, the Index? Although that one's super expensive. It's like close to $1,000.
And lo, rest his soul. Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly.
The Thief Simulator is the only VR game that gets you motion sick. I get motion sick pretty easy. I would assume that's probably the main reason I haven't spent any money in VR. Even playing like, you know, like a Call of Duty or any kind of shooting game, I get like motion sickness after a while. So I don't play those either.
Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Karazal's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
They got some cool armor.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too bad. I could probably get used to it. I used to play like Call of Duty when like on the PlayStation 3, and it was never an issue. Maybe nowadays with my, you know, monitor that has a faster refresh rate, probably wouldn't be that much of an issue. I think if I just like stuck with it, I'd probably just get over it eventually. But I just, along with that, I just have no interest anyways.
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. The simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society.
But I mean, I suppose if you know me, I mostly play single player games anyways. So
Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come.
you would recommend Job Simulator? Man, that's such a depressing. I can't believe people play games like that. I mean, I'm sure it's fun, but it's just like, man, that's like, just based off the name, I know nothing about it. Just like, really, like, I can't imagine people want to play a game that simulates a job. Like you spend all day working and then you come home and play Job Simulator. Crazy. But I do suppose people play those trucking simulators. Maybe they're truckers at work. I don't know. I imagine those people that do the trucking simulators are not truckers.
Other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
I remember like I always liked like working on my cars. It was always a fun thing to do. But then when I started working as a mechanic, the last thing I wanted to do was come home and work on cars. It's like terrible. Let's see, taxes. Levy them on trade profits in exchange for your investment. Takes a village. Gildeshire's orphanage was funded through trade and highly coveted goods. I hate taxes. Let's just go with this one.
Of course, we can draw on trading profits to build a new institution.
Not that it really matters what you pick. The results are the same. Maybe this one dialogue is different, but I can't imagine anything else is different.
Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of Al-Zadal's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage. Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
Honestly, you're pretty much the class clown in this job environment. And that does sound, I mean, I'm sure it's a good game. Or else people wouldn't play it. Nobody would hear about it. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to do VR games on stream. Problem is you can't. First of all, I don't have a VR set. But you couldn't see the chat. Something with... I can't pronounce it. Honor the most successful merchant. I think that was his name anyways, right?
A successful merchant. I believe I see thy reasoning. Kalzal should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavne, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well. Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Murad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Does it make... Oh!
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation.
There's a mechanic job where you can F up people's cars. Oh, that actually does sound kind of fun. I guess I was looking at this kind of wrong. I was expecting it to just... I mean, I guess it's kind of stupid now that I think about it, but I was expecting it to just be like one type of job. I was expecting it, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's like an office job. And you're like in a cubicle. And like you're messing with, you know, doing stuff there. And I never even thought that there might be different types of jobs that you can start. And just, you know, and messing with people's cars would be kind of fun. And if it was anything like semi-accurate, I'd actually know what I'm doing.
Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor.
Those guys are ready for a dungeon. We got a tank, a healer, some DPSs.
Management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. Reminded of Ishgard.
No, that's right. That's what happened in Ishgard. There are office, mechanic, 7-Eleven, and cooking jobs. Sounds like some fun time. It does sound pretty fun, I gotta admit. I don't know if it's so fun that I'd spend the money on a VR set. Maybe sometime in the future, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it that much. If I'm not mistaken, I think the cheapest one that you can get is what Meta's. There's like a Meta Quest. It's like $300 or something. I think that's like the cheapest one I saw. But that might not be the best idea, to be honest. Sometimes it's better to just hold off on stuff and get the more expensive one. And just like not get a cheap one. They might just end up replacing anyways. That's my philosophy. If the differences are big enough, but I like I said, I don't really know. All right, so that was the end of sharing the wealth. Let's see what's next for us. Bridging the rift. It'd be nice if he was talking about the void, but I don't think he's talking about the void. The veteran Radiant wishes to share his gratitude. Thank you for putting forth Kalzal's. I probably just pronounced it. I already forgot how to say it. Kalzal's name. Those whose lives he enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Y'shtola. Yes, or she asks that you meet her in the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Oh, maybe they were talking about the Void Rift. Understood, thank you. Y'shtola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say then? I will go with you. Can the dragon just transfer his mind into this kid whenever he feels like? I thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been the well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Iwan assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done, and I'm curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish. Allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. You don't think anyone uses VR that often? You often spend like 5 months without playing it? I think I've seen the wild stuff that happens in VR chat. That seems like a good time. It's not really a game though. But it does seem like a fun time. And there are a couple games that look really, really good, but I just don't think I'd be able to play them. I think I would just freak out. And those are the Resident Evil games. Yeah, I would just lose my mind. Especially if I play, what is it, like Resident Evil 7? Resident Evil 4 might not be so bad. I mean, I haven't played either one, so I don't really know. But I feel like RE7 would be. I've seen some other people or I've seen some scenes from it. I just can't imagine playing that game in VR. Bone Lab is really good. You can mod it. It's basically Gmod in VR. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of smaller, I don't want to say indie games, but maybe some indie games and some games from smaller studios. I'm sure there's plenty of those. But nothing like an established, company, or at least a company that has an IP that I would personally feel like I gotta play that, because I feel like that's what gets you to buy it. Like if there was like a Final Fantasy VR game, or some other franchise, like a really good Nintendo one, where I could play like Zelda, not like that, that cardboard one they came out with. But stuff like that. That would be the push I need to spend the money on getting a VR set, and then I'd try all the other games out.
Right, here we all are.
But I feel like it's a hard sell to be like, spend these, couple $100 on like a game from a company you've never heard of. And it might, that might be a bad reasoning on my part, and it might be a good game either way, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're just taking a chance, right? Like, I want to say I'll look into it, but I really don't want to look into it, because I know if I look into it, I'm going to like convince myself to spend the money, which I really don't want to do. At least not right now.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
The indie VR games are better than the AAA ones. Nowadays, I'd say a lot of indie games are better than AAA games. VR are not. So I mean, I'm not trying to diminish indie games. It's just a hard sell to be like, hey, spend this $500 on a game that's probably good, but you just don't know. Whereas, like I said, if there was like a good Square Enix game, I'd be like, I've been playing Square Enix games for 20 years. I know what I'm getting into. So I'll spend the money on the VR set. Maybe if I knew somebody that had a VR set and I could like try it out, that would be helpful.
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics.
Yeah, and I guess another reason is, like I said, I'd probably get motion sick playing it. But I'm just like, there's like so many things that are, there's like so many things that are a barrier for entry, at least for me personally. VR AAA games are kind of bad, except for RE4. Not even RE7. I heard it was pretty good.
From what we understand,
scary but good.
Travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them.
But I mean, other than those two games, I haven't heard anything else. At least from AAA games.
Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, You were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many Voidsent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
The games themselves don't cost that much, just the headset, yep. That's why it's not being adopted by many. Because it's like, all right, like if you get the PS5 one or the the PS1, you have to first you got to spend money on the system, and then you got to get a VR set, and then the one for PC, you got to spend money on a PC. And by the time you spend money on a PC, a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse, it's like, man, I just spent a ton of money. I don't want to spend like another, $5,000-$1,000 on a VR set for like a small small amount of VR games. It's a new experience that people, at least a lot of people, haven't had many experiences with. So I feel like they're hesitant. Like, but nobody's hesitant to buy a console. Like, I knew what I was getting with the PS5. I bought a PS4 and a PS3 and a PS2. Same thing with the PC. I've had plenty of PCs my whole life. I know what to expect.
An excellent question.
I don't know anything about the PlayStation headset. I just know PlayStation has abandoned some of their tech. I don't even want to take the chance. Like they gave up on the Vita or the PSP. All right. So I'm just like, eh. And I'm sure their new, streaming handheld is going to be abandoned either way.
Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner.
I can't wait to get here. Dude's pissed off. Can't even fit in there.
It's far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first.
Dude just left his body.
And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Voidsent's physical form is left behind in the 13th.
What are those statues?
Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Is this where all the monsters are coming from?
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
So unless somebody calls us, no way for us to get there. Except for us, right? We're probably special.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
Wouldn't it be crazy if we could do something like that in our world? We find out, like, we're on, like, the source Earth. And there's, like, 13 different, or, like, an infinite amount of reflections of Earth. And we find out how to get from one to the other. It'd be wild.
No, the danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Everybody, when that comes up, everybody always looks at me.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
Well, that hasn't stopped me
I was
before.
most attentive, and I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
Count me in. I'm loving this this story kind of revolving around Y'shtola. We haven't had any quests with her for, I guess, kind of finished the quest. That's probably why we haven't seen her in a while, or at least me personally.
Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
How are we gonna get in?
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single Voidsent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daimir was overseeing the project.
Daimir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a Voidsent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made Voidsent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
a man-made voice.
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daemir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with...
The restriction. What is this, Harry Potter? The restricted section?
Yes, it may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlayan.
5,000 years ago. Still there. You've been watching a lot of Pawn Stars for no reason?
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves. I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot as well. I gotta say, a couple years ago I took the TV out of my room, and I have not regretted one thing. I haven't seen 1 minute of TV in years. Couldn't be happier. Although I probably replaced it with YouTube videos. But you know, not as much at least. And it's not so mindless. And I could choose what I want. You know, better. Yo, Fudge, welcome to the stream. I didn't even notice. I'm now Tom.
Let us be on our way as well.
How you been, Fudge? I don't think this kid wants to help us.
Venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
Can his sister still be alive? I mean, she is a dragon. They can definitely live that long. Actually, I think they're eternal. But I imagine for 5,000 years she's being constantly attacked. That's probably the bigger deal. If we were to enter Nomenon's restricted archives with the minimum of fuss, then we must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind. What if Scholarx Monty? Yeah, whatever, Monty. He did come to Ra's defense during the inquiry, after all. 'Tis settled. Let us head to Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Y'shtola now accompany you. Keep her at your side and proceed with the quest objective. You can leave Y'shtola behind by entering a different area or by speaking with her and selecting the option to part ways. If you wish to have Y'shtola accompany you again, return and speak with her at the original location. What the? What's this box for? This is a real dude? It is. You've been good. Kids are off to school. Kids now off school for a week. So no school. Oh, nice. For a second, I thought they were just... For a second, I read that wrong. And you were just like, oh yeah, my kids, you know, they're at school for a whole week. Nice. Nice to have a break once in a while. Okay, so we can't teleport there, so I guess we're just gonna have to walk. Usually when we have to guide people around, there's like little conversations we can have. I think it's right here. Yeah, let's sprint. You can run. You know, I don't think she's ever been in... Oh, I mean, technically she's not in our party, but... I don't think we've ever had her follow us for anything. But I think that's something new, that they introduced an Endwalker, so... I guess that's not too surprising. So let's see what she has to say. I apprenticed to Master Matoya at the age of 7 and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. I never had the chance to attend the studium. Neither did Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Lasot took a man off the streets, he was put in the care of another Archon. His was a rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival. I sometimes wonder what my life would have been like had I pursued studies here instead. Tea at the last stand after a day's lecture. Oh, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends spent sipping tea and debating theories. Still, I wouldn't give up my time with Master Matoya for the world. The dank cave I studied in was about as far from the bright, airy halls of academia as one could get, but it was a wondrous, magical childhood nonetheless. I agree. Considering who Master Matoya is, I mean, this place is nothing to sneeze about, but I think I'd probably choose Master Matoya as well. Seems like a much funner experience, to be honest. I'd rather be in a stuffy cave than a stuffy library. It's nice, normally I don't stream when they're off school, but this time I am, as I only just started back up again, so hopefully they leave me in peace when I'm doing that. Also, you planning to stream tonight? I mean, for you it would be in the morning, but for me it would be 3 a.m. Ah, visitors, and quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholark, but we were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Nomenon's restricted archives. Ooh, no furtive forays into the stacks this time, eh? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety, yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Are you going to try to stick to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah, it's best to have a schedule. I mean, I don't know, for me, it may be a little different. I tried to do a schedule, but then I just kind of felt forced. Like, to me, it's better to stream every... I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. But I have an easier time streaming every day. But if I announce, oh, my schedule is every day, then I don't want to stream anymore. I can't. It's like once I make that declaration, it just feels different. And I just get more annoyed. Whereas if I don't say anything, then I'm not like I promised to stream every day, and then it's just, I don't know, it's weird. Fascinating. I had no such idea of such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. My assumption is correct. The research left behind by House Demir has lain dormant in Charlian's archive for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. Oh, with the Matoya music. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift. For one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. And yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to the last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was the promised reward? Ah, marvelous. I would agree. The fact that they have a secret or maybe not secret, but the fact that there's a lot. I mean, wouldn't it be strange if you went to the library and they're just like, this knowledge is restricted. You can't learn this stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a library to learn? You're going to restrict books. An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and the wherefores, I for one do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present your request to the forum's consideration. Why, thank you. Although your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Oh yeah, for you it makes sense, man. You have wife and kids. Completely understand the schedule for you, but that does not apply to me. So I have more liberty in that fact, but I completely understand. The fact that you can stream 3 days a week is surprising at all, to be honest. Why Master... Damn names. I'm gonna call him Master 4. Master 4, of course. He can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master 4... Great, now I'm thinking of One Piece. Although I guess that's Mr. 4. Master 4 on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well, we'll pay a visit to the levy estate, complete our case. One last thing to do before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you made in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours. I'd wager so if you could see a way to indulging an old man's curiosity. Of course, Scholar, you'll be sure to pass on any revelations. You'd be streaming a lot more if you didn't have a wife and kids. I feel you, man. Oh, we can't even teleport. I don't think we can teleport with her following us. Man, we gotta walk over there, I think. I mean, I guess we can take... Yeah, let's just take the chance. Didn't really say anything about teleporting. If not, we'll just go pick her up again. Oh, nice. I guess we didn't have to walk. I mean, I guess that's not too surprising. We've had the NPCs use the teleporter before. Actually, they used the teleporter to get to this place to begin with. Master Divinius, Mistress Justola, that may be of service. We've come to speak with Master 4. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the Master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Well. Millians would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You have some matter of import to discuss? Then pray proceed, you have my full attention. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholark Monty expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you will not attempt to circumvent the forum's authority again, unless it is absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister, she was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from the horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. It is no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation might be, or must be. Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair trade for our cooperation. Do not celebrate just yet. The forum must still be convinced. Now add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Baldician Annex. Well, considering this is a story mission, I have no doubt they're going to say yes. Okay. Let's see. I imagine it's probably inside the building. So what did the forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Matoya has burned some bridges here in Sharlayan, insulted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms I might add, of the incredible debt we owe you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. That is wonderful news. Thank you for both speaking on our behalf. Yes, well, as I'm sure you are aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it's not. I wish you well in your endeavor, and bid you good day. Never the same, that one. Uncompromising, eh? But that very stoicism is exactly what Sharlayan needed to guide it through not one but two exoduses. That was a fairly long quest, about 40 minutes. This went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk in through the door. Our focus would be on finding House Demir's research notes. Of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. Well, I mean, it's going to take us some time to find what we need. So, we look through a couple things and, on the side, can't be that much of an issue, right? Did I check out the Final Fantasy VII mobile game? I did not. I should. I mean, I was like super excited to play it, and then, I should have expected it was going to turn into, I heard stories that it was like full of like microtransactions, and I don't know, maybe. I wanted to do it on stream. Maybe we should do it at some point. Would be interesting. I've never played I don't play many phone games. In fact, I could probably count on like one hand the amount of phone games I've ever played. I can only think of one that there was like one phone game. I was like, oh, this is so fun, right? I'm sure there was, you could spend money, right? But the game itself was like not predatory. And of course, I played it for like a month. And apparently this game was out for like 7 years. And I just never played phone games. But I discovered it after like 6-7 years that it was out. And then I started playing it. I was like, this is fun. I played it for like a month, and they announced that they were shutting the servers down and, closing the game for good. So I was just like, great. I found one phone game that I liked, and you guys are taking it away from me. Ever since then, I just stopped playing any phone game. I might try something here and there, but I've never stuck with anything. The game that I'm talking about was, it was also a Final Fantasy game. It was called The Record Keeper. It was like mindless fun, right? It wasn't like super complicated, but I had a fun time with it. Maybe if I played it for like 6 years, or like a long time, I'd probably hate it, but I don't. For the month I played it, I was having a good time. Let's see what Monty wants. Restricted reading. Monty is waiting to offer you further instruction. Let's go. You'll be heading directly to archives from here, I presume. You presume correctly. Then you'll want to speak with the index page. When you arrive, it's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. It was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? Who's going to accompany us? Yes, we know this. It's like we just, that's pretty much how every NPC following you explains it to you. There was another mobile Final Fantasy game which was amazing, but that got shut down too. Yeah, they can't have a good phone game if they want to make a bad one with microtransactions and predatory stuff. But I don't know. I could be unfairly giving it, hate. But yeah, I think that was another one that was pretty good. Mobius, yeah. I mean, they just probably don't want to maintain it anymore. Or it's not making... I mean, you got to think about it, right? People are... If the game is being updated, like if it has a story or whatever, it's being updated by somebody has to be... They have to get paid, right? And sure, I mean, the game is free, right? Like, I'm fine with, like, microtransactions and phone games that are free. Or even, like... Even if it's not a phone game. Like Fortnite. Fortnite's free, but they sell stuff in the game. I'm fine with that. Where I don't like it is where it's like predatory and stuff. And it's, or maybe like it slows you down in the game tremendously. But if it's like cosmetic, I don't care. So I guess maybe they shut those games down because they weren't making enough money to sustain themselves. So I don't know. At least that's my guess. Because if it was making money, why shut it down? To think the set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist, but yalms away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Azadal III's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, clearly not taken to heart. Yep, the answer was in a child's folklore. Is that a robot? Archon, Y'shtola, and guest identified. My name is Just... I'm the Warrior of Light. How dare you know her name and not mine? You wish to proceed into the restricted archives. That's why we're here. Follow me if you would. Watch your step and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. What is naked flames? There's no way this is going to turn into a dungeon, is it? So, I mean, from what I understand, this place is like over 5,000 years old.
If House Damir's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
Oh, nice. Voice dialogue. Man, the piano is crazy. Just imagine that. You have a restricted section in a library that you don't usually have access to, and they just went this hard with the piano. I don't think this piano is, or this music is played anywhere else. Let's see if we can learn some interesting stuff. Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful Void Point creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger but trembling, like a candle's flame, threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential. Insignificant even. Untitled Goldsmith's Journal. I wonder if that's like the Manderville Goldsmith. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite transcendent being. Though you're tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the volume you're seeking. I wonder why it's restricted, to be honest. It didn't seem like there was a reason to restrict that. The weighty tome. In the year 1564 of the Sixth Austral Age, Amalja summoned Ifrit, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as gigantic, lizard-like being with a potent command of fire aspect magic. We consider that primal summoning as an act fueled by faith and prayer. It is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deformed entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by worshippers. What then might emerge from the ether should one who believes in an almighty omniscient attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his high presence, some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spells to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age, yet with no means to verify its pronouncements? How could one be certain they were true? Your mind spins with the possibilities discussed therein. This does not seem to be the volume you're seeking. That's a wild journey. I can maybe understand why that one was, put in here. That dude was thinking of summoning a primal. Cool, I like how you can get up here. Although I feel like that's not... I mean, it is a wild idea, and obviously you don't want people doing that, considering what primals are. But I feel like tons of people have thought of that. There's no way that needs to be here. Obviously, we're not reading the whole book, so I don't know. Maybe there's more stuff in there. The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures, as devised by Nuhasan, the ninth patron house of Dimir. Well, this is it. We present these research notes to the facility of Charlene's Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. You appear to have located the forbidden volume you seek. Y'shtola will need to make the final confirmation. She probably doesn't want us to look or find the book so fast. Probably wants to spend time reading other stuff. Have you something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies, I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Well done, Divinius. I think you may have found our prize. I wonder if we can come in here whenever we want now. It'd be wild.
The ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damia's resonance many times at the Great Work.
It'd be crazy if all these books actually had a story. You can come in here and just read all of them. Obviously, they wouldn't be as long as a book, and someone would have to spend a ton of time writing all these stories.
Time to see what all the fuss was about.
Let's see.
Among the ranks of the Voidsent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures, a talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations.
Weren't these these look like the enemies we faced in the last dungeon that we did? That was part of this main story quest. I think it was 2 maybe 3 quests ago. Kind of looks similar.
Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate.
That's pretty cool.
Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos.
Seems solid.
How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon void scent, has been discussed among academics for years now.
And I'm pretty sure we killed a couple of them in the last dungeon. You always manage to miss the actual dungeons, just a whole bunch of lore and dialogue, which is fine. But a shame you missed the combat. Yeah. I mean, these are the main story quests. So it's like 90% lore and dialogue. Right? Not so much fighting. I mean, if you look at the title of the stream, it's main story. MSQ is main story quest, 6.1 to 6.5. And obviously those didn't all come out at once. They came out. I think 6.1 came out last year, and probably every couple months, 6.2 came out. I think 6.5 came out like 2 weeks ago or something. And I think each one has like 1 or 2 dungeons. So it's not like there's that many.
Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales.
But I will be uploading it to YouTube anyways. Although I suppose the live feed is there anyways. But I'll be uploading it in better quality.
And still, House Daemir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for.
But I feel you, man. Sometimes, playing, it must not be the most entertaining thing to watch. Just a lore dump for a game that's... for me, it's different. I've probably put over 1,000 hours into this game.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves.
But for somebody that doesn't really know, I don't think you've played this game. I think you mentioned you didn't play this. A lot of this stuff means nothing, right?
Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
You have an entire episode on Fallout just building shelves and scrapping them. Yeah, but that sounds kind of funny. This is why I was always so hesitant to record anything from this game, because I know that it could be boring most of the time. Even with games like Final Fantasy 16, there's lore, but there's so much fighting in that game. You're pretty much fighting anytime you need to go anywhere. And yes, there's cutscenes, but this game, I mean, we've been streaming for 2 hours and 40 minutes, and we've done one dungeon. That's it. You play like an hour of this game. I will say that I think you can play this game for free. I think you can play this game for free, no time limit. I forget if you can go all the way to level 70 or if you can go all the way to level 80. I think it might be 80. But yeah, you can play this game from 1 to 80. No cost, no time limit. I think there's a couple of restrictions, like you can't sell stuff on the marketplace, which is probably to like, you know, avoid bots, you know, just selling stuff on the marketplace. Very few restrictions, but you can, like I said, everything else is pretty much open game. You can play the story. Did I record from like the beginning of the main story quest? The beginning of 6.1, yeah. Because, I mean, I didn't record from like the beginning of the game, but I recorded from the beginning of 6.1. And I'm planning to do 6.1 all the way to 6.5. And who knows, maybe after this, when the new expansion comes out, I might do the same thing. The funny thing is, this game has New Game Plus. So technically, I could replay the whole story and re-record it. But I don't know. That would take me months for like no benefit, except for recording it and putting it on YouTube. It doesn't give you anything in the game. As much as I would love to start crafting the Atmos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we have a Hainish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Demir project. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled, security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I see we return to Thavnir and look for her at the Great Work. Usually when the expansions come out, like for example this expansion, right? The expansion comes out, you have a story, a main story, and it usually ends at a, like in this story it ended at 6.0, and that's just referencing the version, I guess you wanna, or the. Now, like when you download a file and it's like version 1.2 and then they update it and it's version 1.3 or something, right? That's pretty much what the 6.0, 6.1, 6.2, every time they do that, they add story and other things, right? So usually when an expansion ends, you're at a 0.0. So the last expansion, it was 5.0. This expansion, it's 6.0. But, after the expansion is over, while you're waiting for the next one to come out, they'll do like 6.1, 6.2. And that's pretty much what's going on here. Like the main story of this expansion is done. I finished it like a year ago. But this is like extra stuff. And it's like slowly drip fed to you. Like, I think the quest that I'm doing right now, I think they came out last year. And I just kind of didn't do them. But I think 6.5, I think it came out like 2 weeks ago. And I think they stop at 6.5. Or they stop at a 0.5, right? 5.5, 6.5. And they already announced the new expansion. Comes out next year. I want to do it to be ready for it. We got plenty of time, but I'm kind of in the mood to do it, so let's do it. Y'shtola tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study, and that you want me to be a part of it. I have no doubt you'll be interested. This research log should speak for itself. Did we take the book with us? Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Demir. I never even knew such a work existed. You should. It was sequestered in Nomon's restricted archives, after all. It was? But that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome with forbidden research. And you put it right in my unsuspecting hand. I can hardly wait to read it. Yeah, the game is still going strong after 13 years. I think it's been, I'm not sure. Has it been that long? You're probably right. Something like that. I haven't looked into it. I didn't play this game when it first came out, so. I actually don't know when I started. But it's been like, I think on the login screen it tells you how many days you've been subscribed. I think I'm like, actually I don't know. I think I might be in the 2 or 3,000. Maybe. Yeah, right now I have a playlist with I think 2, maybe 3 episodes. To think that Demir were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock Atmos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Demir project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Sharlayan trembling in their sandals. No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. Though I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once you've built it? So there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. If the purpose of our man-made Atmos is to expand this hidden portal, then I'll need to see it for myself. I think manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly once we finish gathering components I require. Sharlayan markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals. But I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrolabe-infused water. For such a liquid you need go no further than the font of Maya. The aesthetics of old once favored the place for their mediations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you would be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I'll petition Vertra to join us. The idea I had in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about it then? We meet back here anon. Maybe if the story after the beginning piques my interest, you might give it another shot. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. Like I said, the free trial. The thing about Final Fantasy is when the game first came out, Final Fantasy XIV, it was a complete failure. I think it was Final Fantasy 1.0. It was so bad that they scrapped the game. And that's why I guess you could say the first expansion or the first version of the current Final Fantasy XIV was called Final Fantasy: A Realm Reborn. And in the story, I mean, in the story of this game, there have been many calamities. And the last calamity that happened in this story is actually a reference to the original 1.0 version. I didn't play it back then, but apparently, like, they announced that the game was shutting down, and there was an actual event in the game of the calamity happening. I think you can probably watch it on YouTube. Somebody probably recorded it. So it's just kind of crazy that, you know, they turned their failure into the success. Well, you get to see a little combat. Just beating up on that monkey. You want to play Fallout 76? You know, when I saw that game crash and burn, and it was selling for like $5, part of me was like, I should buy this game. Because, you know, it's like $5. Maybe one of these days they'll fix it, and I can play it. And I think I did the same thing with Cyberpunk. You know, when the game came out, it was pretty bad. Or, you know, there's a lot of complaints about it. I wouldn't say it's bad. But there, you know, it definitely could have spent another 6 months in the oven. So there was a period of time where it was heavily discounted. And I'm like, this game seems like something I'd be interested in. I have faith that they'll fix it, so I picked it up cheap and just waited. Should have done the same with Fallout 76. I think now it's more expensive. I mean, I'm sure it's not full price, but, you know, getting it for $5 would have been nice. Yeah, I heard Elder Scrolls is pretty good. Also heard, I think there's like a Lord of the Rings online game that's doing all right. Who knows? Maybe I'll play WoW. When they announced classic WoW, I should have played it. I should have been part of the hype when the game came out. I thought about going back to it after so many years, and I don't feel like doing it anymore. If I was there at the beginning with everybody, it would have been nice, but I didn't do it, so I don't plan on doing it now. Unless something crazy changes. Have that flask for me. Here we go. I mean, it's not really a flask. It's like a little pouch, but whatever. Yes, this should suffice. Thank you, Divinius. Alright, I really don't need any of this stuff, but and I'm probably going to sell it anyways. Alright, another quest done. I wonder what the next quest is going to be. Let's get a little hint. The Void Theory. That'll be interesting. Yep, too many MMORPGs. That's why I stick to one. I mean, I can understand not wanting, you know, if you want to play Fallout 76, I can understand not wanting to play another one. I think Fallout 76 is free, right? I mean, you gotta pay for the base game, but there's like no monthly fee. That's why I suggest like trying this game out because of the free trial. But you know, if you had to pay $15 a month and you weren't into it the first time, I probably wouldn't recommend it. There's also that Star Wars one, Knights of the Old Republic. Yep, I think so, yeah. But like, I've never been much of a Star Wars person anyways. Alright, I think I'm probably going to call it a night. The one bad thing about playing RPGs, at least RPGs that are not voiced, there's a number on my voice. I can already tell. No monthly fee, but you can get like premium, like you can get like premium for monthly fee, which gives you some random things that aren't essential. Yeah, I mean, it costs money to run. I really don't understand it. Like, it costs money to run servers. I don't know how they can just like not charge anybody. I guess they must make enough money on microtransactions that it's not an issue. But like server fees, they're no joke. Especially if it, I mean, I guess it depends on how many people are playing. But it must be making enough money to cover the cost. People love random stuff and cosmetics. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I do have, other than the 15, or I think it's like $13 a month that I pay in this game, I bought one thing from the shop. I mean, okay, two things. You can buy items to change your appearance. Like, you can change your race and how you look. You get a free one when you start the game. And I think over the 1,000 hours that I've played this game, I've bought two other ones, which are $10 a piece. So, I've spent $20 on changing my appearance over 1,000 hours. Sometimes you need a change. But the other thing that I bought, I usually don't buy other stuff, but I couldn't resist. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Where is it? So many damn menus, I always forget where everything is. Thought it was here. Nope. That's weird. It's not a menu I'm familiar with. That's so strange. What is there, like another? That is so strange. Yes, they changed this menu. There used to be an icon called Mount Guide. Am I tripping? Oh, I guess it's... Oh, I must have been clicked on something else. Oh, there it is. I mean, $20 and 1,000. That's extra stuff though. And I think I spent like another $20 on a mount. Oh yeah, you can definitely spend a ton of money on skins. I don't care about stuff like that. I care about stuff that, like, I mean, I guess technically me paying the $10 to change my appearance, it's like buying a skin, right? Except it's permanent. And the only other thing I bought was this mount. There's tons of mounts for sale, but I was like, this one's pretty cool. I want to buy this one. I can't... I don't have flying in this area. Let me teleport to a place where I have flying. Yeah, it's good. This, I mean, I'm sure you're... Oh, you came just at the end, Cool Gamer. I was just about to log off. But this is Odin's horse. Alright, and you got this, cool little glow. I always thought it was pretty cool. And it's got its own, soundtrack. Your son has over 1,000 or over 100 skins and he only wears one. Well, it's like buying a game cheap, super discounted on Steam, right? You pick it up and then you play it for like 10 minutes and then you never touch it again. Probably the same thing with the skin, right? Like, oh, that looks cool. Let me try it. You use it for like a day and then never touch it again. I've been doing pretty good, Cool Gamer. Figured I'd get back into streaming more regularly. You know. How about you? How you been? Let's see. Let's go back to a town, I suppose. You've been at school? Yeah. That's good. I mean, school's important. You know, could be doing worse things. At least you're not wasting away doing nothing. This spear is so cool, man. I spent so much time getting this spear. Spent like 2 weeks getting this spear. I like looking at it every once in a while. What's wild is it's not even one of the best weapons in the game that you can get. It's pretty close. But there's definitely better ones. Yep, looks pretty cool. Most of the reason why it took forever is because you have to grind, which is the most annoying thing. If it was just like you have to do some quests or do some dungeons or something like that, it'd be no issue. But most of it was spent grinding for shit, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is, I suppose. Okay, but like I said, I'm gonna call it a night. Hopefully, if I'm not too busy, I'll be on tomorrow around the same time, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know if I guess we can. Yeah, it ain't Final Fantasy without the grind. I don't know. I mean, there are other games we need to get back to. Wonder if I should get back to them and finish them. I definitely want to get back to Final Fantasy 16 and definitely want to get back to Tears of the Kingdom. The fact that I didn't beat those games, like usually when a Zelda game comes out, Mario game comes out, a Final Fantasy game comes out, I want to like stick with it and I beat it. Didn't finish Tears of the Kingdom, didn't finish Final Fantasy 16, and I didn't get the new Super Mario game that just came out. I'm like, I don't even know who I am anymore. But, whatever. I'm just getting old, I suppose. Alright, thanks for coming to the stream, guys. I'll see you later. Hopefully tomorrow, if not, Sunday for sure. But I'm hoping to do both days. Have a good night, or a good day.